I turn the old girl on, so to speak. That noise you can hear is the stock cooler on the 5870. The front fan is clear with white LEDs, they've lit up. Roof fan is clear with white LEDs, that's lit up. The rear fan is black with no LEDs, it's not lit up. Why? Do you know what I mean? Is it really that hard to get a white clear fan for the back so everything inside's clear with white LEDs? Because in the dark it actually does really nice, it does make it all light up. And if you're anything like me, you want everything to match, you want everything to be, do you know what I mean, matching and lovely, and it all to just look right together. For me, it's like they've forgotten and gone, oh, it's alright, we'll just use a 120. No one's going to moan or anything about it, but why should we? We want everything to be spot on. Corsair are a big company, they should be giving everything matching by now. And I also think there could have been a button somewhere so you could turn the LEDs on the fans off. We've seen it on so many cases now where they have the power separate for the LEDs so you can turn them on and off as well. Why have we not got that? So yeah, more questions, more things that I'm not 100% with. All the optical bays are toolless. You literally just slide it in, clip everything in place, and you've got clips. And it's real simple, lovely jubbly. Power supply, the way that fit, I actually really liked. If I just turn this off, there's actually a tiny little clip at the back and a raised edge at the bottom. So when you put the power supply in and you push it back into place, it holds it in just enough that you can put the screws in the back without it moving around and it all being a pain in the arse. So yeah, it just goes in there, and yeah, it makes things so much easier. A little touch like that is brilliant. For me, because we've not really got a lot more to cover now, we can stick the oven tray back on in a sec, but there's a few little niggly things, like I said, with the LEDs in the back fan. I think this should have been clear as well with matching. It would have been nice to have had separate power for the LEDs. I mean, they're only little niggly faults. Like with the USB 3 with a grommet, it's all tiny little things, but if they had done those, as far as I'm concerned, they would have had an amazing case. Now you're going to ask how it performs. It performs how you'd expect, really. It's not the, do you know what I mean? It's not the best air-cooled case in the world, but it's going to keep a hot rig quite happy. Do you know what I mean? The fans move a fair amount of air, they're not noisy. It's definitely much better than the 800D was. Yeah, retail, I found the cheapest place online is 130, but some places are charging 145 and 150. Now the £130 case bracket now is a very, very competitive price point. There's an awful lot of cases out there. You've got the new Phoenix Colossus coming, you've got the NZXT Phantoms coming even sooner. And for me, those cases are a lot more optically pleasing as well. They are a bit Marmite cases, but at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? If you want something, you know, subtle, then do you know what I mean? There's plenty of cases out there. But if you want something that's all lovely, then do you know what I mean? They do everything that this case does, and they also are, you know, a bit of eye candy as well. Not NZXT, Sigmatech, I've got a full tower coming as well. It's like the bigger brother of the Utgard, and it's going to be coming in at around this price point, and I've seen it, it's amazing. And yeah, the £130 price bracket used to be, do you know what I mean, there wasn't very much in it, you know what I mean, you pretty much only had the half 932. But now there's so many cases all falling at that price bracket, offering so much that, do you know what I mean, it doesn't necessarily make this a no-brain buy. I know a lot of people are going to buy it because it's got a Corsair badge on the front, but it shouldn't necessarily be that way, because if you have a look about, there's some awesome cases at that price. So yeah, there's going to be some stiff competition for this case, but as far as Corsair cases go, this is the best one they've done yet, because it's cool, it's quiet, it's not astronomically priced. There's just a few little niggles, do you know what I mean, that I think they need to get sorted. And then, yeah, it'll be an amazing case. So yeah, the long and short of it is, have a good think, because there is, like I said, there are plenty of other cases in this price bracket, but if it has to be a Corsair, and it has to be a mid-tower, then, do you know what I mean, this is the only choice you've got really, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, it is a very, very good case. It's nice for me to be able to look at a Corsair case and not find anything I think is massively wrong. Maybe a little bit taller next time, boys, so that we can actually get a radiator in, because as far as I'm concerned, like I've said, the radiator support is pretty much, if you want to use a H70 and call your GPU, ain't going to work. If you want to put a big radiator in and call your CPU, yeah, you can get away with it, but you're not going to be able to do everything. So please, think carefully before you think you can go, oh yeah, I'll get this, and get a radiator and get this, and it'll all fit in, because it's not that simple. As soon as you start putting decent sized radiators in there to keep your hot parts cool, there's not a lot of room. I would personally myself use a decent heatsink like this and keep the air layout, because it's just, you're sacrificing too much to be able to get a radiator in there, in my honest opinion. The only way would be to get a CPU cooler that was blowing up that way, so your heatsink was horizontal and blowing up. But then most of the heat sinks that are like that aren't necessarily amazing anyway. So yeah, it's a bit of a kind of like, you get a benefit with one, but then you also get lose benefits with others. So you guys really are going to have to sit down and think what's best. I personally would just go with a nice oofing heatsink like the NHD14, or even the Thermalright Silver Arrow, which I'm going to be testing soon. Rather than trying to put water in this case, because it's not really big enough. If they'd made it a little bit taller, so you put the radiator in the roof and had the fans on the inside, then we'd be talking a completely different kettle of fish. But we're not, unless you use stupidly thin radiators, which are good for nothing. So yeah, long and short of it is, what would I give it? I'd probably say a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Probably a 7, 7.5 out of 10. It's not a bad case. A few little niggles fixed, and it could be a very good case. But do you know what I mean? Those niggles are there nonetheless. It has kept the system as cool as you can be expected. Like I said, it's not an amazing airflow case. Obviously not the best one, but it's far from the worst either. It's definitely above average. So yeah, I'm going to leave it with you guys to decide. But I probably wouldn't buy this with my own money. But that's from my own personal, would I want to sit next to it? Not really, it's not pretty enough for me. It just seems a little bit too bland. Yeah, I don't want to start getting offensive, because it does remind me of something, but do you know what I mean? I don't want to offend people out there. But yeah, probably not my type of thing. Maybe it's perfect for other people, just not for me. So yeah, it's Tiny Tom Logan with the Corsair 600T. Not a bad case, definitely the best one that Corsair have done yet. Out.